Hello, hello. I'm Cindy Pham and welcome to Love Your Rebel Show. And today we are going to talk about storytelling. Storytelling. It's been around forever, hasn't it? People tell things and it's all stories. Whatever you say are stories. So, why is it important? Why is storytelling important? Well, it brings your language, any language, alive. And it creates an experience for the listeners to enjoy hearing the language in a different way. It may sometimes stylish, sometimes, boring, but it's still entertaining to a certain level, isn't it? So, depending on who executes the storytelling, that's what it is, isn't it? So, storytelling is one of the most powerful means for leaders, and all of us rebels here are leaders in what we do, and it helps us influence, teach, and inspire. Storytelling is so powerful, isn't it? I was thinking influence, and the first thing that came to mind was Hitler. He had a massive influence and created that war, didn't he? Another big thing to today, modern times, is fairy tales. Fairy tales has been passed on for a long time, passed down, and they give this kind of happy ending image, and we are all ingrained in that kind of fairy tale idea. Teaching I had was Bibles. Of course, I grew up with Bibles, so Bible, there's a lot of teachers, stories that teaches, such as fables. Those are stories that teach you a lesson in life, and I'll go deeper into that a bit later. Inspire. I think the story that inspires, I would say, is a hero's journey story, right? When, obviously hero, right? But you have to somehow become what's nothing to become a hero, isn't it? So that's definitely an inspiring journey to follow, and motivate yourself to be the best version of you. And I also find that storytelling encourages us to use our imagination and creativity, and that's how we got those fantastic Star Wars stuff, isn't it? Those fiction stories, the imagination. The Avatar was a really good one. There's a few avatars, but the one I'm talking about is the blue avatar, when the vision of the land, of the space that they created for that species was amazing to me. So, how does storytelling influence us in our lives? I guess it really does influence us a lot, because we share stories too. We share stories, and it shows us. Through the stories, it shows us, show the other person passion. Our what do you call it? Fears, our sadness, and the hardship that we've been through just to get to this stage, and and on the other hand, because it tells you the joy of having certain things, and and through all this, all human people, or human species, I'll say, have this common ground of those emotions, and this is how we connect through those emotions and communicate. And story, tells a lot. You don't even need to say certain things. You just tell a story, and they can see from the story, a lot what you want to tell them. So stories are universal, right? They convey a message and purpose that help us understand ourselves as well. So that is to do with our mind stories, right? And with that as well, that just helps us find the people that attracts to our same thinking. So yes, it's quite interesting storytelling. So I better learn how to do it, isn't it? But first, I'll touch on learning. It's very effective for learning. You know, as I'll keep it, the whole story, part of storytelling is about connections between people and ideas. You know, it's a lot of things. It's ideas, it's conveying. Oh, but the big thing is, it didn't really occur to me until I started researching about storytelling that it conveys the culture, history, and values of the people. You know, like certain stories, you know, have certain kind of culture embedded in them. You know, and it tells you the history of how that tradition came about, or you know, something to that effect. And you know, it's quite interesting. And you know, we can apply that to now as well. And I thought that's a great thing to share in that regards. But what I said, I'm going to talk about the Bible, because I've grown up with the Bible. There are lots and lots of types of stories in the Bible itself. You know, there are phrases, there are fables, there are miracle stories, there are like stories that is hard to believe. You know, there's a lot of things. You know, so I think the Bible is a great example of great storytelling style or book, or you know, something just to, you know, have a comparison kind of thing. And I remember the Bible most for its fables. Fables are stories that teach us a lesson, and I remember that because you can also apply that to your life. You know, like remember the boy who cried wolf. You know, that teaches us about lies, because he started as a joke, but when he lied, when he was telling the truth, nobody listened to him because they known him as a liar. So yeah, that's a really big thing there. Oh well, so shall we try some storytelling? No, we won't try it here, it'll be too long. However, I will give you some elements of what you need for what a story that makes sense. For me, I need all these elements, otherwise you will not understand. But in a way, it still helps you understand, or helps you be entertained, I guess, in that way. So the 5 elements that I've searched is, you need the characters, right? And then the characters, you can, how many characters are there? Who's the main character? It's like a movie. I think movies are the best example of storytelling, right? The settings, the plot, the conflict, and the resolution. So these are the elements that keeps the story and keep the listeners intrigued and want to follow the story through. So as a lot of people that know me, I probably don't have all these elements. So I will try to implement these elements into my so-called storytelling. Well, anyway, I would just like to leave you with this message, Rebels. Inspire the world with your stories. I will see you next time. Bye.